All right, what do we got here? We have XRP. XRP is a series of cup and handles. The Rube in the box. Stupid name. I know. So, this tiny little cup and handle over here. Not technically the triggering mechanism. I didn't do every single one because that would just be super monotonous, right? But you got this little guy here. This one. Then he triggers this one, right? So that starts the, probably could go here. You could probably go on the 1 second, like looking at the solar system, and then looking at a planet with moons and looking at you go into what the microscopic levels, and the atoms look like solar systems. Pop. You wind it up, pop goes to Jack in the Box, right? So how do we get him to pop his head up to his destination? Trigger the red guy. That measure move takes you to here. And then that triggers the orange guy. That measure move takes you to there. Triggers the yellow cup and handle. Now there's like a smaller one in here, but like I said, I'm not drawing every single one. You get the idea, right? So we trigger the yellow moves up to here, triggers the green, measure move takes you up here, which is where we're heading right now. I believe, there you go. So XRP is at 207, cuts right through, should stall out here, maybe even flag. You get this sideways flagging from time to time. Seems like you kind of run up, reject off the next one, come down, retest, run up, reject, come down, retest. So the green, which is right there, and we're moving there to trigger the blue. Where's the blue? I'm going to snap you out to and trigger the blue cup and handle. That measure move takes you up here to $3.60. It's an interesting number, and I'll show you why in a minute. So take this up to $3.60. And my theory is that you'll probably have a good amount of sideways movement here as it coils all this up to sling it up to its final move, which is the overall cup from the previous bull market. All right, so what's interesting about $3.60? All right, so we take this fib, right? And please berate me for saying right too much because it's driving me nuts. Extension. Take the bottom of this to that breakout. You take it down here to the bottom of this breakout. Now my lines are not perfect here, but if you take it to the breakout bar, and I guess it depends on where you think the breakout bar is. I would think based on this little guy, it's probably a little tiny cup and handle right there. That's probably our trigger. Let's put it there. $3.60. Okay, I can see it a little better here. There it is. Wherever you want to place it. On the breakout bar from the first cup and handle. Okay, we'll put it there. Where does that put it? Basically right there is at $3.60, right? I don't see any way it gets beyond $10. There's just nothing mathematically that will take you to above $10. Another thing people like to do is use percentages, and you should like to use percentages because that's what rich people do. Rich people don't think about things in terms of dollar bills. Dollars are for poor people. So if you come over here, grab your little handy dandy doodad, come down here. There's your full move. You got 1,250%. If you pull it from there, you pull it from the first breakout bar. Okay, that didn't work. From the first breakout bar here, you get it's like 600%. So if you go over here, and this is where you would get these numbers. So if you took this breakout over here, if you grabbed it from the bottom, and went up here, there's your 1,200% here at 650. Here's 600% here at, what do you know, 360. So 360 is a very interesting level. You have a convergence there. You have a convergence of triggers, percentages, and fibs all at a 360. Find that interesting. The case for $10 really comes down to where you pull your percentages from. And you can play that game if you want. I'm not going to waste your time, but you pull, top of this bar, bottom of this bar, or whatever. You know what I mean? You can do all that kind of nonsense. But you're talking about the 3618 area, which is a pretty extensive move. And if you're looking at the Rube in the box, and then you take percentages, 650 is going to be, I think, where I'm the most comfortable. So that's what I'm looking at. Consecutive triggering, cup and handles, triggering the full overall move. All right, boom, 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 whoosh, and there you go. And why is that? Why does this whole thing even exist? Human greed, emotion, right? Everybody pushing towards a common goal, focused on one thing. Right? That one thing is stonk go up. Yeah, there you go. Just sucking everybody in and shatting them out. XRP, the Harbinger Doom. Why are we calling it that? Well, for the simple fact that XRP comes in at the end of the cycle. You have your push up from the breakout, a pullback, a little flag, retesting a similar high, one last push up, and then it's night time. Where are we at now? Breakout. I'm going to call this your push up. Sure. I'm going to call this your push up, retest, flag, and then one last push up. That's fine too. But the difference between here and here is not a lot. 110, 120, 150. This percentage is not a lot. Is it worth the risk to reward? Is it worth the FOMO? What happens if you close your position too late? Listening to the talking heads, listening to Tom Lee, it's the whatever 11th hour of whatever the party's going till 2. You heard that one. Oh, there's so much money on the sidelines. What was it? What was Tom Lee saying last year? Oh, there's $5 million or $5 billion sitting in money markets just waiting to pour in. Then it was 5.5, then it was 5.6, then it was 5.7, blah blah blah, on and on and on. And now it's, what is it now? 7, and you hear all the people on YouTube talking the same nonsense, right? Oh, look at all these catalysts just waiting. It can only go higher. Can it? Sure, it can go higher. How much higher? That much? That much? What's the point? You should be taking this time to protect your money. You could let it run. Maybe you take it here. What if this just turns on itself? What if this little dip was that dip? It could be. This little dip there is this dip here. What did that take? All 10 minutes? I watched it happen in real time on my way to work. It was this ridiculous drop down of like 10% for it to just spike right back up, flag out, and then break to the next level. Is that here? Is that here? Nothing says this has to be exactly identical. You can take fractals, you can take patterns, and 9 times out of 10, they work. And I can show you. They're not always identical. What's the difference? Is it history rhymes, not repeats, all that nonsense? No. Liquidity. These algorithms, these computers, they're little liquidity Pac-Men. And you can watch them creep across the board like little insects just gobbling up liquidity. You see a bar, it's going to reach out to it. So you could have this fractal over here, but maybe the difference is because we didn't have liquidity. There's a difference between here and here. The difference is 2018 economy, not that bad comparatively. Right now, economy bad. It's bad. Like, you can definitely go outside and talk to anybody, and they will tell you they're not having a good time. You can take all that government data and shove it right up the whatever you want to call it, because all that is nonsense. It's fake. It's colluded. You can put a name on it, anything you want, doesn't matter. It's fake. People take it at surface value. I read through the numbers. I went to the Fred, right? I went to these other websites. I spent a stupid amount of time, right? Because I have no life. And I dug through the numbers. They don't even think they're good. But then you go online and are they even talking about it? All year long. Nothing but numbers. Live streams for the Fed numbers coming out and all that, right? Nothing. Literally nothing happened on Wednesday. There wasn't anybody live streaming. There wasn't anybody talking about it. I think I saw one YouTuber actually talk about the numbers, and it wasn't good. There's no way you can get around it. You can bury your head in the sand. You can try to go hide somewhere. Does it mean that this is coming straight down tomorrow? No. But it means the time is short. Get your house in order. Gold. GLD. I like using more manipulated assets. You can see what they're really doing. So what do we have here? We got gold is in purple, Bitcoin's in red, XRP candles. We got gold flagging after a pullback. We have Bitcoin flagging after a pullback. We have XRP running. Does it sound like the beginning or the end of a cycle to you? What do we have back here? It running into it, but after it already had a pullback with a flag. Bitcoin, pullback with a flag. So gold front ran this one a little bit. Mid-cycle, gold was already in decline. Bitcoin started falling as XRP ran. Gold, hedge against inflation, great. Fantastic. Call it whatever you want. Here's the issue. Gold has already ran 270%. This was your inflationary period. This was your hyperinflation. This is not gold saying we're heading into a hyperinflationary period. This is a head and shoulders. Inside of 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 a head and shoulders. Right, so you do not have fears of inflation here. What you have is fears of deflation, like you had back here, where gold was just doing nothing. And Trump was strong-arming the Fed to cut rates. That's what happened here, right? So Fed cuts rates, now you got fears of inflation. That's why you have this run. That's this. This is not that. Okay? What do we have right here? You have your little Gonzo Nose thing going on, right? You got Gonzo peeking over a fence or something going on. Where else do we see this? Where do we see this? What do you want to call it this? Get your head, spike down. Is that your Gonzo Nose? Is that your Gonzo Nose? There's a spy. Is this your Gonzo Nose? Is that your Gonzo Nose? What are we doing over here? Round top, spike down. It's December 1st. Tomorrow morning, I think it's more likely that we do that, come down, and then go up before a drop and a flag. Well, where would that take us? Round top, drop, flag. This is Google. What happened after that? So my question again to you is, does that even matter? You can find this everywhere. So come back again. We'll go over a lot more charts like this, show you the similarities, the ridiculousness, the laziness of the programming, talk about some of the propaganda mouthpieces. Probably going to start with Tom Lee and relate that along with the FUD system, lawfare, the media, the government, how they all work together to manipulate you to buy and sell at the most inopportune time. Just think about XRP is running up. How many people did not buy XRP because they were so afraid of the Fed and the lawsuit, and they even went so far as to pull it off exchanges? So you couldn't even have access to it. What do you think they were doing? Were they doing the same thing they were doing with Bitcoin? Were they scaring everybody away from it while they accumulated 98% of all the Bitcoin so that they could manipulate it and rug pull people and gain all the wealth for themselves? That stuff, more charts, more projections, more good times. So come back again. We'll go over a lot more charts like this, show you the similarities, the ridiculousness, the laziness of the programming, talk about some of the propaganda mouthpieces. Probably going to start with Tom Lee and relate that along with the FUD system, lawfare, the media, the government, how they all work together to manipulate you to buy and sell at the most inopportune time. Just think about XRP is running up. How many people did not buy XRP because they were so afraid of the Fed and the lawsuit, and they even went so far as to pull it off exchanges? So you couldn't even have access to it. What do you think they were doing? Were they doing the same thing they were doing with Bitcoin? Were they scaring everybody away from it while they accumulated 98% of all the Bitcoin so that they could manipulate it and rug pull people and gain all the wealth for themselves?